Howdy folks, I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. So, today, I guess what's going on in the life of Brian? Well, I decided to finally get a new laptop, so my old one, which is, a decade old at this point in time, I've upgraded it and done some stuff to it, and I don't think, unfortunately, I think it's just come to the point where it's just not going to be able to survive for much longer. It has a charging issue and an overheating issue, and that I don't want to get into the technical details here for you. I won't bore you with the technical jargon. Just suffice it to say that it probably isn't much repairable from this point. So yeah, I decided to get a new laptop, and we'll see how that works. If it gets delivered today, allegedly it's getting delivered today. I wasn't expecting it until Monday, so it's a pleasant surprise that it's arriving today. So yeah. Let's get started. Our first story is titled, "Am I a jerk for throwing water on a kid who kept doing the ding and dong and dash?" What a weird story already. It's like so many unique stories on Reddit sometimes. It's like you never know what you're gonna pull out of the pile here. Well, I didn't think I would be reading a story about a juvenile getting water tossed on them for ringing a doorbell. So let's see what this one's all about. Due to job opportunities, we recently moved into a new neighborhood. While most things were going fairly smoothly, we'd, at around 4 p.m., hear a couple of knocks on our door. When we went outside to see who it was, to our surprise, there wasn't anybody there. It was only until a couple of weeks later that we thought there could possibly be someone doing a ding-dong ditch. We just never thought of it, as everyone here seemed really relaxed, so ding-dong ditch never really crossed our minds. As to not resort to any extreme measures, we put up a sign near the door saying to please do not trouble the people inside by doing these silly pranks, which didn't work. I mean, did you really expect a sign that says a phrase like that? I don't know, maybe this is translated from one language to another, so it's a little bit of a awkward sentence. I think that would only encourage a mischievous kid to continue to prank somebody. Since it didn't work, we resorted to asking people about it. But all I got was that there was some sort of tradition for kids in the neighborhood to do this to new people in the area. This kind of irked me, as Ding Dong Ditch really annoyed me, so I set up a camera inside our house to capture who was doing it outside our door. After reviewing the footage multiple times, I was able to confirm it was some brat who was a couple of meters away. I went to speak to his parents, but they laughed it off, saying that kids will be kids. So I decided that I'd myself do something about it. After 3 days, the kid came back, but I was hiding behind an unlocked door with a large bucket of water. As soon as he knocked, I turned and opened the door and splashed him with water. I thought that was that, but the kid's parents came over not even 10 minutes later, demanding as to why I soaked the kid in water. I tried to justify my reasoning, but to no avail. I'm conflicted. I feel like a jerk myself, as I used the petty way of getting that kid to stop annoying us. I would love to hear your opinions on that as well. Alright folks, I'm a little conflicted about this one too. What do you have to say here? Do you think that this person was completely justified in throwing water on the kid, or do you think that that was, out of line?
I'm conflicted as well.
Amber's apparently conflicted as well. I think that with it being water, it was a pretty innocent thing, all in all. It's not like, it wasn't anything that would cause long-term harm or damage. So I think, turnabout in this case might very well be fair play. I might actually think that I agree with Reddit here and say that they're not the jerk. I could probably be persuaded one way or another. I'm really on the fence on this one. I mean, the kid was doing some stupid prank, ringing the doorbell on these people. OP tried to get them to stop by putting up a sign. They didn't stop. I mean, I don't know that the sign would have ever worked in any reality here. Please stop ringing our doorbell. Oh, you've noticed that I'm ringing and knocking on your door. Well, I'm going to keep doing that. Isn't that how turning the screws works? So I just think that the sign was a good attempt, but it was destined to fail. So I'm conflicted, but I think that OP probably wasn't the jerk in this situation. But I'm really curious what you folks have to say. Not the jerk, and it's interesting that now the parents suddenly care about the misconduct. They had a chance to address it and didn't. Well, they don't care about the kids' misconduct, they just care that OP threw water on them. They're like, oh, the kid's fine. Oh, why did you throw water on our child? It's like, well, maybe your kid shouldn't go around ringing on people's doorknobs. Yes, ringing doorknobs. That's what we're doing now. And now the kid understands that if you mess around, you find out. This is one of those times that I would say using "it's just a joke, chill out" would be acceptable when the other party is mad. Our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for clinging to my husband at a party and not letting someone speak to him privately?" We were invited to a party on Saturday, but I really didn't want to go. I'm pregnant and I feel tired and emotional all of the time, and the last thing I wanted to do was spend time at this party. Usually in these types of parties, there is a signal which tells the majority of us to disappear while a select few discuss business. I hate it because when my husband is around, everyone is perfectly nice, but the second I'm alone, some people can be extremely catty. I told my husband that I didn't want to go, but he told me that it was important for him to go, and he promised not to leave my side the entire time. So we went, and the signal came, and everyone not wanted was getting up to leave, but my husband kept his arm around my waist, so I couldn't exactly leave, and it was awkward because it was obvious that they wanted to talk privately, and my husband was acting like it was no big deal and ignoring the awkwardness. It happened a few times during the night, but he kept his promise and stayed near me the entire time. This one man, Frank, was getting visibly frustrated that I wasn't disappearing and kept indirectly trying to tell my husband that he wanted to speak to him privately, but my husband was acting like he didn't get the hint. Then at one point I needed to use the restroom, so I excused myself, and Frank's wife followed me there and told me off for clinging to my husband and not giving him and Frank some time to talk privately. She asked me if I would just give them 30 minutes because Frank had something important he needed to discuss with my husband. I'm friends with his wife, so I felt bad, but I said no and went straight back to my husband. Frank and his wife were giving me dirty looks the rest of the evening, and the next morning, my sister-in-law told me that Frank's wife was complaining about me to people for how I behaved. Am I the jerk? This is some mob level stuff right here. What did we just read, folks? Hey, Frankie, where are we going to dispose of the body at? It's like, this would creep me out. Like, what? You have a room full of people, like, half of the people aren't wanted. And it's like, what are we doing here? Are we planning murders? Because that's what it sounds like. I mean, I'm not in any position to judge here because I honestly don't need the mafia knocking at my door, but this sounds like the mafia. I don't know. Maybe is this common where you are, dear viewer? Do you have parties where half of the people just walk out so that they can talk about business? I have never heard of something like this. So strange. I just thought I would read this one. I don't have any real judgments here other than, like, he said that he wouldn't force OP to be by herself and he didn't, so everyone's kept to their word, so maybe no jerks here.
Except for Frank.
Except for Frank and his wife. Frank, who probably who's gonna ice some people later, gonna put you on ice. You wanna wear some cement shoes? Gonna go take a swim with the fishes. Gonna go sleep with the fishes. Excuse me, I'm not great with my mafia terminology. Frank and his wife need to get over themselves. If Frank wants to talk business, and it's that important, he can have it over coffee, a phone call, and an email. The list goes on. It's no one's business why he didn't leave your side. Not the jerk. Frank can say, I need to speak to your husband in private. Is it hard to say? This sounds like mafia culture to me before OP mentioned Frank. Source, I have family like this. Tread carefully, OP. It doesn't matter if not the jerk. Only if the people you offended are higher on the food chain than you and your husband. Is your husband in the mob? And OP says, "No, LOL, of course not. Why would my husband be in the mob?" Yes, OP, you're a reliable source here. Of course my husband isn't in the mob. He's in waste management. Our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for making my cousin angry at her husband for not getting her pregnancy cravings for her?" I've had a lot of weird and oddly specific pregnancy cravings. So far, my husband has gotten me every single one without fail. A few days ago, my cousin, who is also pregnant, and her husband were visiting. While they were here, I got this random craving for these brownies that they had in a bakery in France. I mentioned to my cousin and her husband because I wanted to know if she was having these oddly specific cravings. She told me that she did, but it was torture because her husband almost never got them for her. I said it wasn't nice of him and I would be upset if my husband acted like that. Her husband got defensive and said that he actually got her food when she was craving it a lot, and there was a limit to how many times he could be expected to run around after the food that she was craving. He kept telling me that my husband wouldn't get me French brownies. We live in Europe but not France, even though I knew he would because I had even more ridiculous cravings before, and he found a way to get them for me. I told him I would ask my husband since he never believed me to prove a point, and he was so confident that my husband would say no, which he obviously didn't. The brownies came after several hours, and the longer it was taking, the more arrogant the husband got. I was very happy when they finally arrived. My cousin was visibly angry at her husband for the rest of their visit. My cousin's husband asked my husband if he got them just to prove a point, but my husband said that he got them because I said I was craving them and that French brownies were much easier to get than some of the other cravings that I've had. Cousin's husband asked about what other cravings I've had and was mad when he realized I knew I would get brownies if I asked. Before they left, he called me out on setting him up to look bad and claims that his wife is mad at him because of me. Am I the jerk? No, but you sure are probably loaded. What? I can get brownies from France whenever I want. My husband will go out of his way just to grab them. Oh, whatever cravings I could possibly imagine. They'll be provided for me. Wow. You know, I wanted to read this one just because, like, I cannot possibly fathom how much money these people must have to be able to get every single craving under the sun that she could possibly ever dream of. Brownies from France from a specific bakery. This is some Elvis nonsense where Elvis would jump into a plane and then 3 hours later get whatever sandwich that he wanted. Wow. Just absolutely bizarre. Different plane of existence. That's all I can say. You're the jerk. I don't care if you live in Europe. Expecting your spouse to pick up food from a different country is well above and beyond reasonable accommodations for cravings, and you're a jerk for encouraging your cousin to be a diva about it. I mean, I think this is coming from mere mortals and not people who are probably in all likelihood like billionaires. Like, if you're a billionaire and you have like all the money to spare and you're like, oh yeah, I can just go ahead and get these brownies ordered, then that's probably, I mean, I think this is depends. Like, reasonable accommodation to you and me, like, are to two different people is a very, very different thing. So I think that you really have to take it in context of like their socioeconomic background here, because like this might be a very reasonable accommodation for her. No, it really isn't. If they live in, say, Brussels, he can be in France in 1 hour and back in another. It would take him less time to get to France and back than it would take you from going to LA to San Diego. Different country really doesn't mean a lot in Europe. You're the jerk, while they kind of turned into a one-upping contest, it's still really dense and out of touch to assume or suggest that everyone has the same privileges as you. Not everyone has the time, money to go on hours-long road trips to fulfill some random cravings. Calling them not nice or a bad husband for that is completely ridiculous and out of line. That actually is a really good point. Like, if she's actively saying that her husband is a bad husband because he doesn't have the means to go out of his way to fulfill some of these requests, I do think that might actually fall under a kind of a jerky behavior. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like, and if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow. But what's that?
I was gonna say bye.
Oh, bye. Yes, I interrupted Amber's bye. We'll see you all tomorrow, but it will be Thanksgiving tomorrow and Friday Junior, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll still have an episode out. Amber and I are going to record one tonight, since I'm recording in the morning. I've got my coffee here. Coffee. I've got my black coffee here. Let's put it that way. And yeah, we're going to still do a Thanksgiving one. It's not going to be Thanksgiving themed. I don't think we'll dress up or anything. So, we'll just be sitting here in our nice autumn background. And, yeah. We'll read some stories for you so that you can have some Thanksgiving entertainment. Maybe it won't be as exciting as football. Maybe. But it'll come pretty close, I'm sure. Maybe it'll be more exciting than football.
I'd rather listen to us read than watch football any day.
Amber would rather listen to us read than watch football, which is understandable since Amber is not a football fan. So, whatever the case, hopefully if you don't catch the episode for tomorrow, then I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great time. Hopefully you're visiting with family. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, that is, maybe you are in a different place that doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, in which case this is just a normal, everyday episode for you for tomorrow. So, hopefully you enjoy this episode. Hopefully you enjoy your day tomorrow. And, yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!